What's up, everyone? Jeremy here from MTG headquarters at my new Louisville location. I'm just getting my office settled in, but it's time to talk about your MTG Origins pre-release. So with core sets, there's always a lot of reprints, a lot of familiar mechanics, and Wizards generally tries to keep it simple so new players can still enjoy the game and can feel comfortable coming to a pre-release. Now, this time around, I think there's some clear winners and losers in terms of mechanics, but let me talk to you a little bit about some of the things that you might see on pre-release. First of all would be double-faced Planeswalkers. This is something that you don't necessarily have to plan on because it's a Planeswalker and like you're obviously not going to plan on building your deck around pulling a Planeswalker. But things like Liliana, Heretical Healer, flipping over into Defiant Necromancer, just making sure you understand how they work. Now, they say right on the card, so she comes into play as a 2/3 with lifelink, but then it'll say whenever another non-token creature you control dies, exile Heretical Healer and return to the battlefield transformed under her own control. If you do, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. And then she's now the Defiant Necromancer, working more as a standard Planeswalker. So once you flip it, the card really functions the same as you're used to with Planeswalkers. But if you happen to pull one, they make a checklist card that you can put in your deck if you don't have sleeves, so people don't know what it is on the top of your deck. Or you can make a token for it. When the last couple pre-release sets, so I think my strongest format is definitely limited. I play the most of it. I draft a lot. I only really play sealed around pre-release time because that's when the value is the best. But I think with this set, as Wizards has kind of made the transition with their pre-release packs to just making them more and more random, the color that you pick is largely irrelevant. But in the past, you wanted to pick certain things based on the promo rare that you would get. But then they started changing that because people, there'd be a clear better deck or a clear, the promo rare was just the best one, so everyone would pick that, and then what would happen is stores would run out, or people would have a sort of unfair advantage. So in this pre-release primer, I kind of want to just talk about, you can kind of pick whatever color you want, because the largest portion of your pool is simply random, just random booster packs. So it doesn't really matter what you pick in terms of colors, I don't think. But what I want to talk about is what mechanic I think I'm going to be looking for playing a pre-release. I'm going to go through each mechanic and I'm going to tell you which one I think is the strongest for pre-release. So first you have Renown. Basically, it'll say something like Renown 1 or Renown 2, and then it'll say, when this creature deals combat damage to a player, if it isn't renowned, put 2 counters on it. Basically, what it's saying is, if this is the first time it's done combat damage to a player, put a counter on it. So you could get something like Knight of the Pilgrim's Road for 3 mana, that's a 3/2 with Renown 1. So it becomes a 4/3. If you can get through with it, it becomes a 4/3 for 3. Essentially. I think there's a lot of value there. For example, Rock Smaller is a 5 mana 4/4, but we're Renown 2, so you end up with a 6/6 for 5. Again, you don't get that value unless you can get through. So Renown is very good if you have some way to get through unattacked or if you have some sort of evasion, but it's still a good value mechanic. Now, then you have Spell Mastery, which will say something like, it has an ability and it'll say, if there are 2 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard then something. For example, in Send to Sleep, those creatures don't untap during next. It'll have like pay 2 to tap a creature, but then it has a secondary. If you have these things in your graveyard, then they're tapped for 2 turns. So there are definitely spells and ability, or spell mastery is something that gets better in time. So I mean, if you're building a deck, you're going to have 5 or 6 sorceries and instants in it, maybe even more if you're building some sort of spell heavy deck. So I don't think it'll be that difficult to get your spell mastery triggers. But from what I can tell, like even in Fiery Impulse, pay 1 to deal 2 damage to target creature, so that's good. And then otherwise it's 3 if you have spell mastery. So it makes a good card, an okay card, a little bit better. The first two or three spells you're going to cast, of course, are not going to see that benefit. So it does have, it's not diminishing returns, it's increasing returns. But if you really need the spell mastery ability to make the spell do what you need it to do, then you're kind of stuck. Menace, which is also for older players known as the Goblin War Drums effect, or we've seen this effect on several cards over the past couple of years. Basically, it'll say, it's a new keyword for an old ability. It just says a creature with menace can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. If you've played against an aggressive deck, let's talk about like in Dragons, we have the Warrior with Blood Chin, where whenever he attacks, him as well as other warriors can't be blocked by 2 or more creatures. When you're back on your heels, this is an extremely difficult ability to get around. You can use spot removal to make things unblockable. For example, if it's 2 creatures against 2 creatures, you can kill one of their creatures and get in with both of your creatures. It's very, very, very aggressive, and there's not a heck of a lot of drawback. Definitely, as a spoiler, I really like Menace for pre-release. Then we have Prowess. This is not a new thing. Basically, it'll say something like, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn. It's okay. I feel like Prowess was a lot stronger in previous blocks. This block, there's not enough creatures. It's hard to get enough creatures on the board with Prowess to have it really be like a crazy effect. Like I think it's Misfire Adept that gives something flying. That's pretty good. But again, you still need to cast another spell every time to get that effect. I'm not a huge fan of Prowess in this block. I feel like I need to play Origins more to probably to solidify my opinion, but I really think, for example, in Dragons, Prowess was really weak. The only other thing you're really going to deal with if you're new to the game is Scry. If you've been around for even a little while, you've dealt with Scry. It's a very powerful ability. It can be placed on lands as an extra, or spells an extra effect. For example, on Lightning Javelin, you pay 4, it deals 3 damage to target creature or player, and Scry 1. Scrying is awesome. I mean, when I started playing the game, like for example, Read the Bones, I think is a very good card. If I'm playing any amount of black, I might even play 2 copies of it, at least 1 for sure, because that Scry 2 is just so powerful. In the game, especially at pre-release, where you're going to have huge swings because you're both going to be casting bombs, the more you can Scry, the better chance you're going to be able to get the card you need. Now, it's not just finding your bomb rare. Maybe you need a second green mana to cast something with double green, or another black, a third black swamp. So because you need a triple swamp for some reason, or you have that 5/5 for 4. There's a lot of benefits to scrying, and it makes even mediocre spells a little more playable. I wouldn't play something terrible, but like Lightning Javelin's probably playable anyway, although it's at source. It's 4 mana for sorcery speed, a sorcery speed lightning bolt. So that just shows you how powerful Lightning Bolt is, doing 3 damage for 1 at instant speed. This is 3 damage for 4. So it's, in this format, there are a lot of 3 toughness creatures, so I think this card's definitely playable. It's just not very good, I don't think. I would still play it. Maybe not, I might play 2 copies of it as it's at common. So, so I think when you're going to your Origins pre-release, and certainly you guys I would love to hear your guys' opinion, but in my opinion, what I think is the strongest color combination is going to be red, some combination of red and green. Green has insane bombs, huge bombs. Again, we're living in a world where we're picking our colors, but it doesn't really work like that anymore, right? But I think if you can build around Menace and Renown, that's very good. There's enough little spot disruption in red and green to keep the board clear. You can get in early with things with Menace, or even Renown. Like I said, you can get a lot of value with Renown. Getting a 6/6 Trampler for 5 is very good. Outside of some of the unconditional removal, it's a creature that's so big. It's a common creature that happens to have Renown 2 that I think will be extremely difficult to deal with. I mean, look at the Dragons format now. I mean, what would we have to deal with a 6/6? Nothing, right? I mean, a megamorphed creature, or maybe or you need unconditional removal like Reach of Shadows or something. You can't even kill it with a Sandblast or a Dragonfire, or why can't I think of that card? Whatever, 3 mana for 4 damage, Breath of, I don't know, you know what I'm talking about. I registered at my new, I don't know if it's going to be my home place, but it's called Bluegrass Magic or something here in Louisville. And I want to also remind you guys, check out, this video is fully sponsored by GameFinder, gamefinder.co. No E in the name at the end. We're over 15,000, headed to 16,000 active users. We have new versions coming out this week. We've submitted a new iPhone version with the auto login fixed and everything. So as soon as Apple approves that, I think you iPhone users are going to be super happy. It's got an updated games list and all that stuff. So we're just waiting for Apple to approve that. But other tips for pre-release: get there a little early. I like to pre-sleeve my lands if I can. If you're the type of person that wants to sleeve your pre-release deck, if you take, like, I don't know, in a crazy scenario, you could sleeve up 15 of each color, but you could probably get away with 9 or 10 of each color, probably 10. That it saves you valuable time at pre-release, because it's kind of crazy, and most people have to read a lot of the cards, myself included. You have to kind of, when I open my packs, I kind of lay them out, and it takes a long time to read. So I'll go into that a little later in a different video. But for this one, I just want to talk about best color combination, and I think that is going to be for pre-release, not for draft. I think for draft is different. But for pre-release, I think red-green is very strong. Some combination of those two. Maybe even red-black might be very good. But in general, go with the synergies that your cards deliver you. So if I'm telling you, oh, play Renown, don't just force it, right? If you have a deck with if you end up with 8 spell mastery spells, take a hard look at that, because synergy is so important in sealed, because it ekes out that extra value that you really need to turn the tides. So synergy first. If it's kind of between one or the other, I really think Menace is going to be, I think aggro is really good at pre-releases. And red-green is always a good color combination for that, and that's what I'm going to look to do here at the MTG Origins pre-release. I would love to hear what you guys think about maybe which color combinations you want to choose in the comment section down below. We'll talk to you again real soon. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't already, check out some of our most popular playlists from MTG vlogs, sick gameplay videos, new product breaks, and some insane vintage openings. I upload 3 to 4 new Magic the Gathering videos every week, so if you haven't already, please take a moment to crush that subscribe button to join one of the fastest growing Magic the Gathering channels on YouTube. Talk to you later.